So I said, toss the ball and then pronate. So now we're into ball toss. So how do you toss the ball? And where do you toss it? Again, pretending this is the baseline, sort of in this direction. Most beginners face the net and they toss the ball out like this. And as a result, the ball's out in front and they end up swinging down and hit the ball into the net. Or they'll do this. They'll say, well, I'm hitting the ball in the net, so instead of doing this, I'll do this. So they come down like this. Very cool. What do the pros do? They don't toss the ball by putting their arm out toward the net. They have their arm roughly parallel to the baseline and toss it up there like this. Now the advantage of that is if it's over here, a couple things. One is it's on the front side of your body, and that's where you make contact. It's just out in front a little bit. And the other thing is it's off to the side, and that's where the racket goes up. And this is like the most comfortable place for the racket to be to make contact. And if you just hold the racket up like this, you can hold it up here for like an hour probably. Well, maybe we can hold it up for a minute or two easily. There's no stress on me at all. I've got it balanced. If I have it here, I can feel it tugging down this way. If I have it here, I can feel it tugging down this way. If I have it here, I can feel it tugging down. Right here, that's like the balance point. That's where you want to make contact. Really comfortable, easy peasy. So, how do you toss it? The way you toss it is you don't do an elbow ball. You use full arm, and you go from all the way down, all the way up. Why have a big swing? It's because it takes hardly any muscle to get a nice exit velocity when you release. So, nice long swing like this, right? A nice long swing. You know, I could toss it really high easily. I didn't put hardly any juice into that. I just swung freely and way up in the air. So this long swing produces a reasonably high toss without any effort. Why start here and end here? That's because release is halfway between here and here. And if you go from 0 to 60 to 0, this is the midpoint. So you accelerate up to here, you stop accelerating, and you slow down, you decelerate to here. So right here is the maximum speed of the ball as you swing your arm. So if you swing up and release at maximum speed, you can get a really high toss without much effort. If you slow down and stop like right here, you know, if you stop right here, right after release, you're slowing down. So right here, you've got a slow arm and slow ball that release, and it doesn't have to go, and it doesn't go very high, and you have to like flick your wrist or something to get it to go. How do you hold the ball? I see a lot of people hold it in their palm, and the tendency then is to release it by flinging it off their fingers, and it usually pulls it back. You don't want to do that. You don't want it in your palm. You want it in your fingertips. I don't mean like tippy top fingertips. I mean, you know, basically at the widest part of the ball. Hold it in your fingertips, and then when you release it, and don't roll it off the fingertips. Well, you can't because it's at the end of your fingers. What you do is this. You do this. Just fully open your hand. So you do this, fully open your hand, and then your fingers don't perturb the trajectory of the ball, which at this point is traveling straight up. And so the ball, you release it with just fully open, it should go straight up. If you have difficulty with your wrist or something like that, you might try some other way of doing it. Instead of having it palm up, you can have it palm side. Again, fully open in your hand. So that's an alternative way of doing it. It's extremely important to have a good toss, a solid toss. You need to be able to repeat that toss position over and over again, get it within a few inches of each other each time. The exception to that is the height. The height is a little harder to determine than the trajectory up, what angle. Height, you know, it can vary 6 inches or a foot or even a couple of feet. So what most pros do is they toss it up 2-3 feet, and that way they don't have to worry about under toss, that they toss it too low. The little higher toss gives them a little extra time to get to the service motion going as well. Some of the women pros toss it 6 feet, and that's okay, but if you have a windy day, the wind will blow it around, so it's not so good to have that high a toss. So I would say anywhere from a foot to 3 feet above ball contact is good. And play around with the short. See what works.